Alrighty guys, this is Indigo Nyx coming right back at you here, and we're going to jump right on into it. Today's video is concerning my thoughts on straight pride, and I'm going to just get on into it. I'm not beating around the bush. I don't think straight pride is necessary in the sense of being straight pride. Now, let me get this through you guys' head. Now, if you paid attention and watched my past videos, and watched my video on the origins of pride, then you'll understand why there is an actual LGBTQ pride. And let me just sum it up into a sentence. It's because people died for being LGBTQ, or have been discriminated for it. And this is a time and a place for us to come together and relax and celebrate just being ourselves. It's not about us wandering around with our genitals out and everything, but that could be a part of it, you know. Oftentimes LGBTQ and feminist theory have a tendency to collide, you know, especially when we start involving the lesbians and the trans women and the trans men. But moving on, so it is about honoring fallen people. It is about continuing to present ourselves in a certain way, to demonstrate, to push for rights. Like here in the state that I live in, it's still an at-will state where you can be fired for being gay or trans. Now that there is legislation that's slowly changing, but that's partly because we had pride festivals. But there's still housing discrimination, and then there's discrimination that you can't always entirely legislate against. Bullying, the fact that, you know, people will still protest that a drag queen who's dressed perfectly fine, is reading child books to children. And let's get right down to it. Let's not beat around the bush. Part of the reason why you all have created straight pride is because you haven't changed your minds on what LGBTQ people are. You still see us as sexual deviants. You still see us as second-class citizens. It is popular now to fetishize us, thus making us marketable, easy to sell. But you still don't see us as human beings. So when somebody comes along and says, I want straight pride, wanting their participation trophy for being here, even though they're still privileged, entitled little brats who will never have to worry about this crap in a day in their life, like, for real. I'm going to be perfect, and I'm going to stop for a minute here, and I'm going to ask you this gosh darn question. If you are a heterosexual man or woman, and you are walking down the street, in the daylight, in a decent place where you're not going to be scared of being robbed or mugged or whatever for other reasons, because that don't count. Since when have you walked with your heterosexual partner, being a man or a woman, being a cisgender man or woman, let me clarify, and have had to worry about somebody killing you for holding hands with your cisgender female partner or your cisgender male partner, and you being of the opposite cisgender gender? Since when has a cisgender man and a cisgender woman had to worry about holding hands in public and worried about being beaten up? Haven't really heard of that story yet. Maybe you get a couple nasty looks being a straight man or straight woman walking into a gay bar. But you also have to ask yourself, have you respected that bar? Or have you sat there and go, ew, gay men in a bar because it was a gay bar? Yeah, you're gonna get some goddamn dirty looks. It's like, no duh. But you weren't under threat of being killed, or tortured, or raped, or set on fire, which actually has happened. That's why we do pride. We do pride so all the LGBTQ people out there know who is on their side. So all the LGBTQ youth who are still in the closet know that they are loved. So they know they're being supported. So people can come out and be proud of who they are. That's why it's called pride. To not see themselves as sexual deviants, which is something you continue to try to enforce. That's why we have pride. You do not need straight pride because this does not happen to you. Straight people don't get called sexual deviants for being straight. There are straight couples in G-rated kids films, and it ain't considered inappropriate. You try to put your toddlers into pairings as young as goddamn 1 because they near another person of an opposite gender. That is how prevalent being straight is. It is the default. Being cisgender is the default, even though it is not the majority. But y'all act like you're a minority when you're not, because you're privileged and you're entitled, and you think that for 5 minutes that you have to share your toys, that suddenly means the world is ending. You are spoiled, so stop acting like spoiled children for 5 minutes and realize that somebody having a party down the road that you got invited to, and you're just asked to be respectful. Don't pour beer on somebody's carpet. Does not mean that they're being rude or disrespectful to you. Secondly, I'm not done. You all seem to have this common thing, and as somebody who is bisexual who has been in straight relationships with very heterosexual men, this is real. I've experienced it. This is a common pitch from bisexual women and cisgender straight women, is that there is this very common strong streak of very emotionally unhealthy mentalities among heterosexual men. Now, not something that's always dangerous, but stuff like the wife does all the housework, or I shouldn't have to put any emotional weight into this relationship, being emotionally absent. I did half of the dishes and I didn't finish, and that makes me such a great dude, or some shit like that. That my wife's a ball and chain, ha ha ha. Shit like that. The fact that y'all don't know where the clitoris is. Sweet baby Jesus. Call us sexual deviants, at least we know how to have a good time. And I'll tell you one thing, most of the time our partners enjoy being with us. As long as they're consenting. I do not condone anyone who is not consenting. That is where we get into the bad territory. We set those people on fire just next to you, right side you. I think we should all come together with a pedophile hunting festival, and I think we all will be good. Maybe we shouldn't do straight pride. Maybe we should just have a pedophile hunting season. Well, then we'll sing Kumbaya as we set fire to the pedophile. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. World peace by killing all the pedophiles. There will be no pedophiles at Pride. Children cannot consent. That is my opinion on that. You can go take your minor attracted person and go shove it up your ass. Because being gay and lesbian is for gay and lesbian adults. Being trans is a gender identity. Nothing to do with sexuality. Same thing with intersex, same thing with gender fluid, same thing with non-binary. Bisexuality is for adults, polyamory is for adults or people of within the same age group. Do you got that? That is a video for another time, but generally that's my opinion on that. You can bitch all you want, I don't give a shit. But there is that unhealthy mentality that goes on in heterosexual relationships, and it's like, what do you have to be proud of? Seriously. That is your heritage, straight people. That is what you have. That is the joke that goes on with you people. That is your legacy. You really want to celebrate that. There was a joke about the straight pride parade should end with all of you standing in front of a man-made version of a clitoris so you could walk around it for hours because you can't seem to goddamn find it. And that was a valid statement. And I don't care about you 1%ers who are like, I'm such a nice guy. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. If you got to say you're a nice guy, you're probably not a nice guy, so shut up. This is the legacy. Now, if you want to maybe draw attention to that, start changing that, because I know at Pride we've got booths talking about abuse and drug abuse and stuff like that that's common in the LGBT communities that needs to be fought because of discrimination and PTSD and all this other nasty stuff. Then, yeah, let's do that. But it's not a straight pride. It's more like, get y'all, you'll use some group therapy festival. Don't fear the couple therapy festival. Your wife is not there to be your maid, mother, and sex slave festival. So, and I'm not against doing that. Like, I would do that. I'd make that festival. Like, let's do it. Let's have a heterosexual, emotionally healthy relationship week. Put it in the whole, like, the Domestic Awareness Violence Month. Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Blah, blah, blah. Because shit comes from somewhere. Have that festival. We can raise awareness for that stuff. And raising awareness doesn't mean you can't have some awesome music, and you can't have... we could play Dixie Chicks and Gunpowder and Lead and all that stuff, You can't... It doesn't mean you can't have fun performances and fancy colors and stuff, bringing awareness to this stuff. I would say that if you're going to do that, then you should probably use the color purple, because that is the color that is used for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm not against that. That'd be great. That actually would start addressing some even more problems that I have that make me happy. I think that make a lot of straight women happy. Or a sex education festival. How'd you find the clitoris? We'll have a game, and we'll make a game out of it, and eventually you'll all get it. So like something like that. That's great. Like, let's do that. Let's address those problems in a fun way, But you're not wanting to address those problems. You just want to basically stand up there and go, participation trophies, even though you bitch about participation trophies all the time. Like, excuse you, people who at Pride who usually are the people who had to fight to get here. Not to mention traffic, we literally had to fight to get to Pride. Not to mention sometimes the protesters, so sometimes we literally have to fight to get to Pride. And lastly, before I end this video, because I am rambling a little bit, I do want to mention the people who did organize this straight pride thing also have some strong effing ties to alt-right and to neo-Nazi white supremacist organizations, so I wouldn't trust them very much. But yeah, no, ponder on the whole, like, emotional awareness, healthy relationship awareness, sex education awareness festival instead of straight pride, because that's something that does need to be addressed in heterosexual communities, that I think actually may benefit y'all. A little bit better than y'all marching around going, we're proud that we're the default. We're proud that we don't get discriminated against. We're proud that nobody's gonna shoot us for being straight. And that if we do, the cops are probably gonna be all over that shit and that man is going to effing jail. Seriously. You're at no threat of actually being harmed in any way, shape, or form. Simply for being straight. Maybe, just maybe, doing that festival idea. Because that would make me very happy. Because I'm always bitching about how it's so goddamn hard to find a dude. Because they all seem to have that horrific mentality. Even though they may not be abusive. I'm like, I'm sorry, just because he doesn't hit me is not a good enough excuse. So that's all I gotta say on that. Ponder upon my words. If you want to fight me about it, then I want a double-spaced Times New Roman font, 12-point font, essay, MLA format with works cited, at least 5 books, not websites, thank you. And they cannot be Wikipedia. And they cannot be an alt-right or a white supremacist website, because I swear to effing God, or you give me one of those. Like, that's out. You want to bitch about how CNN is fake news, then motherfucker Fox News is fake news too. And I want that with 2 paragraphs supporting my argument and 2 paragraphs not supporting my argument, and a conclusion and a thesis statement. You're gonna work to argue with me. So that's all I gotta say. I'll wrap this up so you're not listening to me ramble on. Treat each other with kindness, respect, and dignity. Don't be an asshole. If it involves animals and children, definitely get upset. But if it doesn't and everybody's consenting, then mind your own goddamn business. Good night. Good night. Good night.